Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Well, today we're tackling something pretty huge,
Yeah.
the future of work.
Mm-hmm.
But not just like what jobs will be around.
Right.
We're going way deeper than that,
Much deeper.
thinking about how AI could totally reshape how we learn, how we make a living, even how our whole society is structured.
Big stuff.
Big stuff. And to help us wrap our heads around all this, we're turning to Salim Ismail.
Oh, interesting choice.
Yeah, he's like the leading expert on exponential organizations and how tech is disrupting, well, everything.
I've seen some of his talks. Pretty thought-provoking.
Right. He's got this recent video that honestly kind of freaks me out a little,
Yeah.
also super exciting.
I know what you mean.
Like, the future he paints is both amazing and kind of terrifying.
Yeah, the one where, like, work itself is totally different.
Yeah. He talks about how it's not about fitting into some pre-existing job.
No, it's more like everyone's an entrepreneur.
Exactly. He uses that term gig economy a lot, right?
Like, forget the 9 to 5
Right. It's all freelancers, side hustles, constant adaptation.
constantly adapting.
So, what do you think is driving this massive change?
Well, technology is a huge part of it.
Obviously. But is it like the only force at play here?
I mean, think about it. All those tasks that used to need a human, now a machine can do them.
Oh, yeah, like automation, AI, all that.
Exactly. So humans are freed up for more, what's the word, strategic stuff.
So less data entry, more big picture thinking.
Yeah, something like that.
Sounds pretty good in theory. But what happens to all those traditional jobs then?
That's the big question, right?
What about job security, benefits, all those things we're used to?
Well, the gig economy promises flexibility, freedom.
But also creates new problems.
Definitely. We need to figure out how to provide social safety nets in this new world.
And how to make sure it's fair for everyone.
Absolutely.
And that's where things get kind of unsettling, you know?
Yeah.
Ismail talks about this potential spike in deaths of despair.
Oh, wow. That's a heavy one.
Right. What's that all about?
Well, it's this idea that as AI gets even smarter, surpassing humans in more and more areas,
Right.
it could trigger a crisis of identity and purpose for a lot of people.
So it's not just about losing your job to a robot.
It's deeper than that.
It's about feeling like you can't keep up, like your skills are becoming obsolete.
Exactly, like you're constantly being outmatched by machines.
That's got to be a huge blow to your ego, your sense of self-worth.
Definitely, it could lead to that despair that Ismail's talking about.
Yeah, it's a bleak thought, but it feels like something we need to confront.
Absolutely, we need to rethink what success and fulfillment mean in this new world.
Right. It can't just be about keeping up with the machines.
No, it's about finding our place in this new landscape.
So how do we even begin to prepare for all this?
Well, Ismail talks a lot about personalized learning.
Yeah, where AI tailors education to your needs.
Exactly.
What does that actually look like, though?
Imagine learning any skill you want at your own pace.
Okay.
And you have this AI tutor guiding you.
Whoa, hold on, AI tutor.
Yeah. It adapts to how you learn best.
So, like, if I need to master some crazy coding language for my next gig.
Exactly. The AI tutor creates custom quizzes for you, finds relevant resources.
And it adjusts difficulty as you go.
Yeah, like a super-powered personal tutor, available 24/7.
That's insane. But isn't there a risk of becoming too reliant on these AI systems?
That's a valid concern.
Like, what happens to critical thinking, creativity, if we're just being fed information?
Right. The key is to use AI to boost our human abilities, not replace them.
To enhance, not eliminate, right?
Exactly. We need to be the ones in control.
Okay, so it's a delicate balance, for sure.
Definitely.
But let's shift gears for a second, because Ismail also dives into this whole blockchain thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a game changer.
Right. He talks about how it could revolutionize governance, make everything more transparent.
Less corruption, more accountability.
It all sounds pretty utopian.
It has that potential.
But how would it actually affect me as a citizen?
Well, imagine being able to track every government decision, every dollar spent, every vote cast.
All out in the open.
Complete transparency, which shifts the power dynamic.
Gives citizens more control.
And holds those in power accountable.
Okay, now I'm getting excited.
It's a powerful concept.
And I gotta be honest, the tech side of it still feels a little fuzzy to me.
I get it.
Can you break down blockchain in a way that even I can understand?
Think of it like a giant digital ledger, a permanent record
Of what?
of every transaction. But instead of being kept in one place,
Yeah.
it's spread across a network of computers.
So it's like super secure, impossible to hack.
Pretty much.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So good. Good.
But hold on, isn't blockchain also connected to those cryptocurrencies?
Like Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Where does that fit into all this?
That takes us even deeper into this whole decentralization thing.
Oh boy, here we go.
We'll explore that next. So cryptocurrencies, they're built on this blockchain technology.
Oh, I see. So instead of like banks or governments controlling our money.
Yeah. Blockchain lets us do direct transactions, like person to person.
Cutting out the middleman. Sounds kind of radical.
It is, but it's also pretty simple when you think about it.
Okay, how so?
Well, money is basically just numbers in a computer, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But with blockchain, those numbers are tied to these, like, unique digital tokens.
With tokens.
Yeah, and they're cryptographically secure.
So when I send someone Bitcoin, I'm actually sending them these tokens.
Exactly. You're transferring ownership.
And because it's all on the blockchain, it's all, what, tamper-proof?
Tamper-proof, transparent.
Okay, so no more hidden fees, shady transactions, all that.
Nope, it's all out in the open.
But I've also heard crypto is super volatile.
Oh, yeah.
Like your savings could be up one day, down the next.
True. Cryptocurrencies have been known to fluctuate.
Is that just hype, or is there something to it?
Well, part of it's because crypto is still pretty new.
Makes sense.
Regulations are still catching up.
So a lot of uncertainty.
And then there's all the speculation driving the market.
Oh, yeah, people buying and selling based on, what, rumors?
Basically, which can lead to those wild price swings.
So it's a bit of a gamble then.
It can be.
But Ismail seems pretty optimistic about crypto, right?
He is.
He talks about it creating a fairer financial system.
Yeah, that's one of the big arguments for it.
How so?
Imagine a world where anyone, anywhere with an internet connection can access financial services.
No matter where they live, their credit history, none of that.
Exactly. That's the potential of what's called DeFi.
DeFi.
Decentralized finance. It's built on blockchain.
So it's like a financial revolution, bypassing the traditional gatekeepers.
You got it.
Empowering individuals. I like it.
Powerful stuff.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Always good to consider both sides.
What about the potential for misuse? Couldn't criminals use crypto too?
That's a concern regulators are definitely looking at.
Because of the anonymity, right?
Yeah, blockchain offers anonymity, which can be exploited.
For illegal activities, money laundering, all that.
But there are ways to track those transactions, too.
So it's a constant back and forth.
A cat and mouse game. As technology evolves...
So it sounds like we're still figuring all this out.
We are. It's early days.
So much potential, but also a lot of unknowns.
Definitely.
Okay, let's zoom out for a sec. Bring it back to our main theme.
The future of work.
Right. How does all this AI, blockchain, decentralization, how does it actually impact the way we'll be working in the future?
In huge ways, think about it. If work is becoming more decentralized,
happening online, through gigs.
We need secure, transparent ways to handle payments, contracts.
Even reputations, right?
Exactly. And blockchain can provide that infrastructure.
So it's like blockchain is the foundation of this new work ecosystem.
You could say that.
And then AI is like the brains of the operation.
Matching workers with gigs, automating tasks, helping us learn.
Wow, it's a powerful combination.
Very powerful.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Good.
It's like a whole new world emerging.
We're just starting to see its outlines.
But it's a lot to take in, honestly.
You know, it's a lot.
What are the key takeaways for our listeners here?
What do they really need to understand about this future?
Yeah, what's the bottom line?
The key is adaptability, continuous learning.
Okay, so we got to be lifelong learners.
Absolutely. The skills you have today might be irrelevant in 5 years.
So we got to be ready to learn, unlearn, relearn.
Exactly.
But how do we even know what to focus on if things are changing so fast?
That's where critical thinking and problem solving come in.
Those are timeless skills, right?
Exactly. It's not just about learning specific technical stuff.
It's about being able to learn quickly, adapt to new situations, solve problems creatively.
You got it.
Those are the skills that will always be valuable.
No matter what the future throws at us.
It's like we need to become learning machines ourselves.
A little ironic, right? Since we're talking about AI.
Yeah, but it also shows how important our human qualities are.
AI can process data, automate tasks.
But it can't replicate our creativity, our empathy, our ability to connect.
Those are the things that make us human.
And those are the things that will matter most in the future.
I believe so.
Okay, I love that. But let's be real for a second.
Sure.
All this talk about the future can be exciting, but also kind of overwhelming.
Definitely.
What advice would you give to someone who's feeling anxious about all these changes?
I'd say embrace the uncertainty.
Easier said than done.
I know, but the future's not something to be feared.
Okay.
It's something we can shape.
So we have agency. We're not just passive bystanders.
Exactly. And the more we understand these forces at play...
And the more we can navigate them, even influence them.
Absolutely. It's like we're all explorers charting uncharted territory.
Exciting and a little scary at the same time.
Exactly. But speaking of exploring, Ismail also talks about decentralization beyond just governance and finance.
Oh yeah, he mentions like decentralized social networks, content creation platforms.
It's a whole other level of decentralization.
What's that all about?
Imagine a social media platform where you control your own data.
Oh.
No algorithms deciding what you see.
And creators get rewarded directly for their work.
That's the promise of decentralization.
So no more data harvesting, censorship.
And content creators get a fair share of the profits.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
But how does that actually work? What would a decentralized social network even look like?
It's still early days, but there are platforms experimenting with this.
Really?
They use blockchain to create a secure, transparent system.
Where users have more control, more ownership.
Exactly. It's about taking back control from the big tech giants.
Putting power back in the hands of the people? I like it.
It's a powerful idea.
But if everyone's in charge, doesn't that also mean more potential for chaos?
That's a valid concern, figuring out content moderation, preventing abuse.
Yeah, those are big challenges.
But there are new solutions emerging, too.
Like what?
Community-based governance, reputation systems that leverage the wisdom of the crowd.
So it's like we're all responsible for shaping the online world.
Not just relying on a few powerful companies.
It's a big responsibility.
It is, but also a huge opportunity.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here. This idea of decentralization keeps popping up.
From work to governance to social media.
What's the big takeaway for our listeners? Why should they care about decentralization?
Because decentralization is about shifting power from centralized institutions to individuals.
Giving people more control over their data, their finances, their work, their lives.
Exactly. It's about empowering individuals.
It's like a power shift from the few to the many.
You could say that.
But let's be honest, not everyone's going to be happy about giving up control.
True. Change is never easy.
There will be resistance
Yeah.
from those who benefit from the current system.
Absolutely, but I think the benefits of decentralization are too big to ignore.
It's like we're at a crossroads, choosing between clinging to the old ways
Or embracing a new paradigm that empowers individuals, creates a more equitable world.
and that choice is up to each of us.
Ultimately, yes.
Okay, that's a powerful thought, so much to think about.
So much.
But let's bring it back to our listeners, their individual journeys.
Okay.
In this world that's changing so fast, how do we find our place, our purpose?
That's the big question, isn't it?
The million-dollar question.
And I think the answer lies in understanding ourselves.
Our values, our passions.
Exactly. What makes us tick, what lights us up.
So it's about self-discovery in the midst of all this chaos.
You could say that.
But how do we even begin that journey?
I think it starts with curiosity.
Curiosity.
Be curious about the world, about new ideas, new perspectives.
Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things, step outside your comfort zone.
Exactly. See change not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth.
It's like we're all in this grand adventure figuring out who we are and what we're meant to do.
I like that analogy.
But let's be honest, it can be daunting to go through this alone.
Very true.
What role does community play in all this?
Huge. We need to build new forms of community, online and offline.
That foster collaboration, support, shared learning.
Find your tribe, people who share your values, who can support you.
So we're all in this together, even though we're on our own individual paths.
Precisely. We're all interconnected, and we need to support each other.
To learn from each other, create a future that works for everyone.
That's the goal.
Okay, I love that vision. But we've covered a lot of ground today.
A lot.
I know our listeners probably feeling a bit overwhelmed.
It's a lot to process.
What's the one key takeaway you want them to walk away with?
If I had to sum it up in one sentence,
Go for it.
embrace change, embrace learning, and embrace your own unique journey.
Powerful words.
The future is not something to be feared, it's something to be shaped.
And we all have the power to shape it.
We do.
Okay, I think that's a perfect note to end on. But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to go back to something Ismail mentioned about needing a new definition of success.
Oh, yeah, that's a crucial point.
What does that actually mean? How do we redefine success in this new world?
Well, in the past, success was all about external stuff, right?
Wealth, status, achievement, the whole 9 yards.
But in this new world, I think true success is about something deeper.
So it's less about what you have and more about who you are.
Exactly. It's about adaptability, about your ability to learn and grow.
About connection, contribution, all those things
Wait,
we talked about.
it's about finding fulfillment in the journey.
Not just the destination.
It's about living a life that's aligned with your values.
And that makes a positive impact on the world.
That's what true success looks like in this new world.
I love that definition. It's much more fulfilling than the old metrics.
I agree.
Okay, I know our listeners are eager to hear more about this new definition of success.
And how to actually cultivate it.
So let's dive into that in our final segment.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned, folks. Okay, so we've gone deep into this future with AI, blockchain, the whole decentralized world. But now I want to get practical.
Yeah, let's bring it down to earth.
Like, how do we actually define success in this new landscape? The old ways don't really seem to cut it anymore.
You're right. It's not just about the big paycheck or the fancy title anymore. It's got to be something more.
Exactly. So what does success look like in this crazy, fast-changing future we've been talking about?
Well, think about it. In a world where everything's in flux, adaptability, that's the key.
So it's not just about what you know. It's about how fast you can learn new things, unlearn old stuff, and relearn it all again.
Exactly. It's being okay with not knowing everything, with things changing constantly, seeing those changes as chances to grow.
So instead of chasing some specific job or salary, we should be building this mindset of like constant learning, always adapting.
You got it. It's like we're all becoming mental athletes, always training our brains to be flexible.
I love that. Success is a journey, not a destination. But
Yeah.
okay, let's say I'm on board with this whole lifelong learning thing. Where do I even start? There's so much information out there.
I know, it can feel overwhelming, but that's where personalized learning comes in.
The AI-powered kind.
Exactly. Imagine an AI that creates a learning plan just for you.
Based on what?
Your interests, your goals, even how you learn best.
So it's like having a personal tutor, but like a super smart one.
Yeah, a tutor that helps you cut through all the noise and focus on what really matters.
That's incredible. But not everyone has access to those fancy AI tools, right?
You're right, and that's something we need to address.
So like, what about people struggling to make ends meet who don't have the time or money for self-improvement?
We have to make sure everyone has equal access to education and opportunities, no matter their background or situation.
Like, we're all in this together, and we got to make sure everyone can thrive in this new world.
Exactly. We need to rethink how we fund education, how we design learning, make it accessible to everyone.
So it's a collective effort, not just individual responsibility.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say we figured out this lifelong learning thing. We're all adaptable and future-proof. What's next?
Well, in a world that's becoming more digital, more decentralized, it's easy to feel isolated, alone.
Yeah, like we're all just staring at our screens, disconnected from each other.
Exactly. But the truth is, we need each other more than ever.
So it's not just about individual achievement. It's about recognizing that we're part of something bigger.
You got it. It's about building those meaningful connections, both online and offline.
Finding your tribe. People who support you, challenge you, celebrate your wins with you.
People who get you.
Like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
Exactly.
But there's still something missing, right?
Yeah.
It's like we need something to give our lives meaning, purpose.
You're right, and that's where contribution comes in.
Contribution.
Using your skills, your passions to make a positive impact on the world.
So success isn't just about feeling good. It's about doing good.
I think so. It's about aligning your work, your actions, with something bigger than yourself.
I'm seeing a theme here. Adaptability, connection, contribution. These are like the building blocks of a fulfilling life in this new world.
I think you're right.
But how do we actually put these ideas into practice? Where do we start?
Start by looking inward. What are your values? What are you passionate about? What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world?
Once you figure that out, then you can start aligning your actions with your purpose.
Exactly. It's like having an inner compass that guides you.
Through all the noise and uncertainty of this new world.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a destination, always learning, always growing.
It's like we're all pioneers exploring this uncharted territory. But before we wrap up, got to go back to that whole AI thing.
The potential for it to surpass human capabilities.
Yeah, it's exciting, but also, kind of scary.
Definitely.
How do we embrace the potential without losing sight of what makes us human?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think the answer is recognizing that AI, it's a tool.
A powerful tool.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us to guide its development, make sure it aligns with our values.
Use it to enhance our lives, not diminish them.
Exactly. We got to be thoughtful about how we integrate AI into our world.
It's like we're at a crossroads. We have to choose the path that leads to a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
A lot of ground.
We've explored the potential of AI and blockchain, talked about the gig economy, the importance of learning and adapting, and the power of connection and contribution.
It's been quite a journey.
But most importantly, I think we've started a conversation about what it means to truly thrive in this new world, a world that's changing faster than ever.
And that's the most important thing, keeping the conversation going.
Exactly. So to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future. Remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us.
We create it.
So go out there, embrace the unknown, be the change you want to see, and keep diving deep.
Stay curious, stay connected, and keep those imaginations firing. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.